Welcome to Midnight Movie Talk, Sunday night box office discussion. Every Sunday, we break down the numbers and tell you what was a winner, what was a loser, and what's going on in the world of theatrical, because that's all that matters. Forget streaming. It's all about theatrical. By the way, theatrical's dead. Yeah, right. Because we had both Dragon Ball and Beast outperforming. And this shows you that the appetite is insane right now at the box office, because you've got two films, one at 20 plus and one at 10 plus, that really were going to be lower than that. All estimates, all projections were lower. And now we're above that. Why? Because people want to go to the movies. They still do. You just have to give them product. And Beast is entirely forgettable. And look, it almost made $12 million over the weekend. It's a good number. But Dragon Ball Super is the superstar this weekend, because it is the number one film in America. And when you look at this, it's another example of a specialty film that has a hardcore audience that came out and supported it. Okay, so anime's that way. And I'm finally getting into anime, but I will tell you this. We can talk about it in the comments tonight, so light it up here on MMT in the comment section. Ask me about the film, because I don't want to really give a review of Dragon Ball Superhero. I don't understand the environment slash universe that this film is. So for me to say that it's, works or doesn't work based on the hardcore audience, that's kind of hard to say. For me, it didn't do much for me, because I'm not a huge Dragon Ball person, didn't grow up watching that film. So, watching the show. All right, let's get into it. So here it is. This is a variety here on this, the wrap up. And it says right here, impressive 21 million, a little under 21 million for Dragon Ball Superhero. By the way, that is Crunchyroll. And Crunchyroll is anime, film, and television, and they're a subsidiary of Sony. So Sony got this into a bunch of IMAX screens. If you went to go see it this weekend, there's a good chance, like me, you saw it in IMAX. And that helps. I believe the number was like 17% of all tickets sold were IMAX, which makes every viewing experience better. So anytime you can get that PLF, premium large format option, take it. It's worth it, especially if you have A-list where there's no add-on, right? You just get the same price, same thing for any movie. You take the upcharge, you take the IMAX, you take the Dolby, whatever you want to do, Prime. So look at this number. I mean, it's 21 million, which is really strong. I mean, no one really, if you didn't know what Dragon Ball Superhero was, you're like, what the hell? This film just did $21 million. And then you have Beast right on its, a little over half of that, 11 and a half, which is above the 10 million that we had projected. Dragon Ball, we had about 17, 18, so it's above that. And this is what's happening. People are still going to the movies. Imagine if we had like a tent pole right now. We don't. We have these very small niche films, like Beast is not a film that appeals to a huge segment of the movie-going audience. And obviously, Dragon Ball, same thing. But yet, we have this number that is very impressive on both of these films. So, very strong. Let's talk about that in the comments. Also want to mention this. This is huge. Another milestone for Maverick. This film is now at $1.4 billion, which is insanity when you think about where this film was when it began. We knew it was going to do well, but to be here so many weeks on, I mean, it's been, what are we at? Like 3-ish months, a little over 3 months coming up on that. And we are now at 1.4 billion worldwide. And you got to look at the global number. The overseas number is actually bigger than domestic, which is incredible, because that's usually how Marvel movies do. That's how giant tentpole super mega heavy on the effects films do. This is not that, but it shows you the power of Tom Cruise. But most importantly, it shows you the power of good filmmaking and a great film that delivers everything that you want. So for it to be at 1.4 million, I mean, based on when I saw it way back when now, not that surprised that it did a billion, but 1.4? We're almost at $1.5 billion worldwide. It is now, we already knew this, but officially there's no chance this does not get a Best Picture nomination at the Oscars. You guys know I'm an awards guy. I know these things. It's going to happen. It's going to. Write it, etch it in stone. It's a lock, okay? Because you can't have a movie that big and not get a number and not get some major hardware coming out of the Oscars. Let's also talk about this Bullet Train. So Bullet Train is at the exact same number, just a little under 70 million, that The Lost City was at the same point in the cycle. So exactly through the date, the Sunday, so it's 2 Sundays now, it had the same number, 70 million. I mean, insane. Because here's the thing is that's an R-rated film, Bullet Train. And the Lost City is PG-13. So when you have a situation where you have a portion of the audience that can't go see your movie or not going to go see your movie because parents aren't going to take them to an R-rated film, and you have the same number that the Lost City put up before everyone was like running back to theaters, and it was kind of in that generating the interest stage of theatrical again and really pushing things towards Top Gun Maverick. Lost City was one of those films that did that, and now you have a film with the same. So anyone who says this is not, failure, and there are people out there, some box office pundits who I no longer speak to because they don't know what they're talking about when you tell me the Bullet Train is not a success at $150 million worldwide. Okay? It's a $90 million film, 150 worldwide. 70 million domestic and still climbing. It's a hit. Is it a smash? No. Is it a success? Yes, because it's past its budget. And even if you throw in all the advertising cash, it's still very likely over that number now. So it's now in the black. So that's a success. I don't know how else to put it. Let's get into the comments nice and early here tonight because theatrical is not dead. It has not happened. If anything, we have films that are outperforming, and we have 2 of them this weekend, Dragon Ball Super and Beast. Also, tonight's kit, Newcastle United, they tied Man City today. They tied the Premier League champs back-to-back, or is it 3 times in a row for Man City? Anytime you tie a team and you get a draw, and it's 3-3, we're going to wear the kit here on MMT. Into the comments here on this Sunday. Welcome to the show, and thanks for being here. Like, subscribe. You already have. You're here. I Talk Marvel 227. Hey, man. How's your night going? It's going well. Just got back from the Giants preseason game, and it was great. Box office looks strong despite it being August. That's the headline here tonight, that you had 2 films come in here that were expected to do under the numbers they did, and they did over. Why? Because people still want to go to movies. You have to give them a reason. This is shaping up very well for Barbarian in a few weeks here because we really have nothing significant until Barbarian hits on the 9th of September. So we're still, like 2 weeks away from that? 2.5, 3 weeks? Is it 3 weeks now? When that film hits, take the over. I had it at 15. I might push it higher. That is way above what everyone else thinks because it's situated perfectly where there's been nothing ahead of it significant, and it's horror, which will generally outperform, like we just saw with Dragon Ball Super this weekend, anime. Those hardcore horror fans will come out to see Barbarian, and the word of mouth will be strong. I want to talk to you about the film. I have issues with it, but I can't do that till you see it. So until we have a chance for everyone to see the film, we're not going to talk that much about Barbarian, but buy the film now. If you can get in on some Vegas action on Barbarian's opening number, take whatever it is. They'll probably give you like 8 and put it down. Get your cash, because you're going to make it. As a diehard Dragon Ball Super fan, thank you, Gongro. I needed this because I'm sitting there yesterday watching this film going, I don't know who these characters are and what the hell is happening. So I didn't really like it that much. I kind of agree. It didn't do a whole lot for me. Also, wasn't the movie excluded from A-list. It was for movie. It was excluded from A-list. That's all I'm going to say. It was excluded from A-list. Let's just leave it at that. It's interesting you say that you didn't like it as a fan, because for me, as a non-fan, it was okay. I mean, I liked the animation, looked really cool. It was in IMAX, sounded great, all that stuff. But as a film, just for me being totally drawn into a film, the front end took too long to get to the battle. Then the battle happens and it goes on forever. So I think it's okay. But as a fan, for you to say it's okay, then I'm going to let you review the film, because I can't. In this case, it's really not fair to judge a film and evaluate if it works or not for hardcore fans. That's what this film is for, right? It's not a traditional like Beast or name any film, Top Gun Maverick, any film we've discussed here tonight, or any film basically other than hardcore anime fans. So for me to review it, other than to say I wasn't all that impressed with what I watched as far as me being taken away by the film, I kind of felt myself removed from it and was just lost. But then again, I don't know the characters. So see, this is why I'm not going to give it like a rating for me, because it's not fair. It's just not fair. For every other film, it's totally game, but not that. Aaliyah, good evening to you. Day 45 for Thor 4, theatrical exclusive today, and still no Disney Plus news. I like what they're doing. I mean, it's at 700 and what did I say today? I tweeted it out, 730 or something like that. It's not going to make it to the Batman number of 770. So it's going to be under that, which is, sorry, that is a disappointment. It's not a bomb. It's not a massive disappointment, but it is disappointing that this film was not able to get to Strange. It wasn't even close, right? It's going to come up about 200 million short. 200 million. Now, I understand there's no China, no Russia, but even without those things, here in America, the film did not pop like you expected. It really did a very average opening, not as big as it should have been, and then it dropped pretty hard, pretty fast, and it hasn't held on over successive weeks. And even though I like the film, I admit a lot of people don't. So I like, though, that Disney has not said when it's coming, because that way you can go to see it at the theater, which is what they want you to do, and then buy it on Disney Plus when they hopefully they put some kind of surcharge on it. I would hope at this point, or do they just throw it on Disney Plus? I don't have Disney Plus. I would hope they would charge something, like even if it's like $5, just make a few extra dollars for people. We might as well, right? They'll probably pay it. Nick, breaking, Tom Cruise has gotten a hold of the Infinity Gauntlet and snapped the Avengers. That's correct. Sixth place is now in possession of Top Gun Maverick as it takes out Avengers Infinity War, which is, again, another incredible, insane achievement for Top Gun Maverick. 1.4 billion worldwide, sixth biggest all time, and I believe now, according to Paramount, in the email they sent out today, it is the ninth biggest all-time film. And I think they're doing some inflation things with that. They're changing some number. I don't know what the deal is with it, however they finagled the number, but it is going to be, they claim, the ninth all-time. Either way, let's just forget it, whether it's ninth or 10th or 11th. Let's say this, a $1.4 billion is insanity and something that no one predicted. Nobody had this film at that number. Nobody. We had it maybe at $1 billion, but not at 1.4. Almost $1.5 billion. Just a matter of when, if not, Maverick crosses 700 domestic, become number 5. Labor Day weekend could be huge. We'll see. We got, No Way Home's coming back out again with the extra footage, right? I think that's what Maverick needs to do is when it leaves eventually here in the next several weeks, eventually it will go. When it goes, pull it away, put it back out at Christmas, that holiday corridor, and give it, like, who cares, 5 extra minutes, something, a new Lady Gaga song, something to draw audiences in, and then they'll come again, and then you'll get way over 700, which will be, I believe, Black Panther, right? So it just needs to get to 700, and then it will take out Black Panther, which would be fitting, right? It keeps taking out Maverick, takes down Marvel films. That's the headline. Aaliyah, again, Bullet Train's worldwide box office is currently 1.7 times the production budget. So currently it's a bomb, but there's still time to stretch its wings. Listen, I understand, but here's the thing. So the budget's 90, and then you got the advertising money, which is obviously quite a bit amount. Let's say tens of millions. And then there's all kinds of other stuff involved too. But at 150 and climbing, still in theaters, doing well overseas because Brad Pitt's a draw. It's not a bomb, okay? I understand technically, but here's the thing. A bomb is Lightyear, right? A bomb is Lightyear. And for someone to say Bullet Train is equal to or even similar to Lightyear is disingenuous, and it's wrong. It's not. It's bad analysis. AMC to the moon. Marvin, good evening to you. Welcome to the channel. At this point, AMC's kicking ass. Regal, on the other hand, apparently they're going to file bankruptcy, right? So they are in trouble. I mean, theaters are making it on small margins, right? We know that. They need people to come to the theater. That's why the studios have kind of let them hang out to dry, because there's not anything major coming until we get to Halloween Kills, Black Panther 2. And until then, we have to deal with things like Barbarian, which will outperform. We had Beast do better than expected. Dragon Ball this weekend. Coming up, we don't have a whole lot. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on Don't Worry Darling, isn't there? Warner Brothers' next big film. It's going to be an awards film, assuming it is of a high quality. My concern with Don't Worry Darling has been the same since we got the announcement of its release date. Whenever you have a film that looks like it's going to be an awards film, and you have it within that awards window, which is going to be really September to the end of the year, the closer you are to September, the weaker the films are. That is how it goes. So if you have a film that is going to be lights out, awards just destroyer, and is going to rack up tons of nominations, you're not going to drop it in September. You're going to wait. Now, you're going to throw out Coda at Me, which was like, I believe, an August number. Even Apple didn't know or even believe that Coda would walk away with Best Picture. And the fact that it did is still befuddling to me. I mean, I can't believe. I say this, and I've said it before. It has nothing to do with subject matter. As a film, Coda will go down as one of the worst best pictures of all time. I mean, it is right up there. I mean, when we go back and look at history at best pictures, and you're going to see Coda there, you're going to, what were they doing that year? But remember, anytime a film comes out earlier in the awards window, September's in the window, but in the edge, watch out, because that means the studio probably doesn't have as much confidence in it. There's a reason they gave it that date. I think it'll do well box office, but if you want to do awards, you got to have quality. So you really want that combination. I'd rather see it in October. That's my concern of the movie. We'll see what happens. I'm hopefully going to see it here soon. It's going to debut in the next month, actually next few weeks. It's going to be at Venice, and we're going to get early reviews. And if they're mixed or low, that's not going to be good for the film. It needs good reviews, even with Harry Styles, even with Florence Pugh. This is a film that needs reviews more than horror films, more than big tent poles, as we saw with something like Jurassic World Dominion. Reviews meant nothing. Even Minions, which had decent reviews, if it had bad reviews, it would still be, look at it, 800 million worldwide. Certain films are critic/review proof. Other films are not. Don't Worry, Darling is not one of those films. It needs good reviews. Gabriel, I've already managed to raise money to see at least 6 times in theaters when it premieres on December 23rd. Why am I looking at DWD like, what the hell is that? I'm literally, what am I missing here? No, God, it's going to come to me, and you guys are going to go, oh my God, that. It's not Thor. Okay, it's going to come to me, Gabriel. Please just help me. Marvin, watching Fall tomorrow. Thanks for your recommendation. It's so fun. In fact, we're going to see it again tomorrow night. That's how much fun I have with Fall. We are going to go see it tomorrow night, AMC Burbank. I haven't decided which one, either the 7 or 10 o'clock show. And we are going to laugh and have a blast watching Fall, which is a hoot. And when the vulture scene happens, I plan to laugh as loudly as I did the first time around. If you're anywhere near Burbank tomorrow, we're doing Fall because it is that good. I think Thor is coming out on Disney Plus this week. Did they say that? I don't think I've seen that announcement, Gingy. I mean, listen, I think that they need to just keep it quiet until they for sure, like, this movie's out of money at the box office. There's no one else going to see the movie, and we're getting close. I mean, it's really dropping. It's down to, let's see, what was the number this weekend on Thor? I got to look at my, like, top 10 list. It's way down there. So at this point, you got another week or two, and then it's going to be completely dead, and then you put it on Disney Plus. I just like to extend it until the point of no more cash coming in, and it's really over, and now we go to digital. Don't give the date away early, because that makes people wait, and then you don't make as much money theatrically. And at the end of the day, MMT, you know I am all about theatrical. I don't give a crap about streaming whatsoever. It's all about me going to a movie theater. So I want to see films in theaters. I do not want to watch them at home on streaming. That's why I don't really talk about movies that are streaming only. In fact, I rarely, if ever, do. One of the few exceptions of that was Predator, right? Prey. That was rare because they screened it for us on the big screen. I knew it was going to be big, and it should have been theatrical. So that's a rare exception where I went in and said, okay, let's discuss Prey. And it turns out to be the biggest movie ever, I believe Disney said, in streaming ever. And that doesn't surprise me. Think about this. What if Prey were theatrical? We would have had a number of at least 15 more. Okay, I'm just saying minimum 15. I think it goes higher because word of mouth was strong. People were excited for the film. And more than likely, you would have chosen, if you had the choice, would you have gone to a theater to see Prey? Yes, that's why I went. So I thank Disney for at least having that, but I really think they missed it when they didn't put that thing on in theaters. Gabriel, again, they won't drop a movie like Thor without advertising, so definitely not dropping this week. Yeah, Gingy, I don't think it's happening this week. They're going to try to really work that. So maybe it's next week. But again, I think we still have a few weeks because Thor's not totally done. But now we've got kids back in school everywhere. So now these kind of films like a Thor, the family kind of films, the films they're going to have the kids go to see, they're going to drop off really fast because everyone's in school, so they're not going during the week as much. During the summer, you have kids going all the time, right? They're going to see Minions. They're going to see Dominion. They're just getting out of the house on a Tuesday afternoon to go see a matinee of one of those films. Once school starts, it changes. I mean, college kids are back. They're not going to movies during the day as much. They got tons of classes to study for. So everything changes in August and September. And that's why you see the studios flip from really the tent poles to more specialty programming like a Don't Worry Darling. But I still think Barbarian's going to absolutely slaughter when it comes out here at the beginning of September. Ali, again, when the movies appear on Disney Plus now, there's no extra charge. Yet we're in new territory with the behavior re Thor 4. Yeah, right. It's normally free. I think now you attach a $4.99 charge to it. I don't know how you do it. I mean, listen. I everything I see is on a big screen, and I get sent links for things from the studio, so I don't have a subscription to Disney Plus. So I don't even know what the hell it looks like, to be honest with you. So they send me the links, and I just click on it, and it's there. So I think that there's a way that you should charge $4.99. I know some of you, boo, what are you doing? You're gonna listen. I mean, at the end of the day, these companies are trying to make money. I mean, that's the way the world works, right? Okay, so that's why we're trying to get monetized here on MMT. Why not? I mean, listen, money's not a bad thing. I don't think it should be the sole purpose in your existence by any means, but it's also something you need. Right, so Disney. Listen, it's cool if they put it on for free. I just would charge $4.99. Hit me with a bunch of down likes on this video right now. What are you talking about, man? Gabriel, maybe on Disney Plus Day, the 8th or 9th. That would make sense because that would be the end of the road for Thor Love and Thunder as far as theatrical money, for sure. I mean, right now we're so close to the end. In 2 more weeks or whatever that is. That's interesting. I believe that's the date for Barbarian. Hold on, let me see if that's let's pull up the release schedule. Here we go. Let's pull the release schedule up and see what we got. All right, here we go. Coming up next weekend, we have Samaritan, which is actually going to be streaming on Amazon, so that doesn't count. Breaking, that's a non-starter. That's Bleecker Street. 3,000 Years of Longing, we'll talk about this week on Thursday. The next time I see you guys on MMT, I'll give you my review of 3,000 Years of Longing. In short, forgettable. It's unfortunate because it really is. You're talking about George Miller, and it's just not as great as it could have been. It just doesn't do a whole lot. Not a lot of passion when you watch it. The Invitation is the Sony picture that could do okay, but it's PG-13, so horror PG-13. I'll see that Thursday. I'm gonna wait. I'm not in a rush to go out and see that. And then we go beyond that, and we're really looking at the Jaws re-release, a bunch of stuff that really doesn't matter. The next time we talk about a film that matters is right here, Barbarian. That is the 9th of September. So if that's Disney Plus Day, then the 8th or 9th. The 9th, the Barbarian, take the over on Barbarian. It's going to be 15 million plus easy on this because it is going to sit there and be ready to rake cash because it had nothing in theaters ahead of it. That always helps the next film in. And it kind of helped Beast out this weekend. It definitely, I don't know if it helped necessarily Dragon Ball because Dragon Ball was all hardcore fans. The average person is not going to walk into Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super, I should say, because first of all, as Gone Girl mentioned, it's not part of the A-list, okay? So therefore, you have to pay for it out of pocket. And second of all, it's not a movie that just someone's going to wander into. They're going to be there for a very specific reason. They watch the series. They're familiar with the show. They know the characters. That's who that crowd was. So it shows what a great number, almost 21 million was for that film. I mean, just amazing. Jennifer, good evening to you. I'm having a great evening. Thank you so much. Had a wonderful... If you saw my tweet earlier, I was right outside Warner Brothers, had a beautiful shot of the water tower tonight, and it's just a great evening here in Los Angeles. The heat's finally coming down. It was like 98 degrees for like 2 weeks straight, and finally we're at 88. So we've cut 10 off the top, so I'm very happy about that. Ali, I agree with Gabriel. If not, they're waiting till day 90, which is October. I don't think they're going to wait that long. I think that, the traditional 90-day window is dead. There's no reason to wait. Once it's pretty much petered out, let's go ahead and throw it onto Disney Plus. I would just charge a $4.99 fee. Again, here come the down arrows. Sorry, it's truth. Aliyah, definitely Bull Train not on the same path as Lightyear. Good, thank you. So at least we can admit that if someone says Lightyear and Bullet Train are the same, no, and disregard everything that person says going forward. Habitula con Dolce. I just say Dolce from now on. I'm not sure if we discussed this yet. What do you think about Cineworld's bankruptcy, and should AMC pick up some of the top theaters at a cheap price? It's Regal, isn't it? Is Regal Cineworld? Listen, anything that goes under in bankruptcy and is in trouble financially, as AMC was at one time, no one wants that, especially if you're a film lover. We all are, okay? So no one wants to see that. I don't think AMC really needs to be adding additional screens. I feel like financially they're doing okay. I don't think I want to be investing more in theaters. I think that they're in a pretty good spot. I mean, here in Burbank, they own the place. They got 30 screens down the street. It's my favorite complex I've ever lived near in my entire life. We're very blessed, very lucky to have that here. But if they are looking to add screens, I don't know. I'd be very strategic about that. I would absolutely make sure that whatever I'm buying is one of the top performing in that chain. If I'm going to think about buying it, I would never buy something that was like middling or forgettable. There's no point unless the location is pristine and you can build. But that's not everywhere. That's very few places. Nick, Damien Chazelle, film budgets, Oscar wins. First Man, 70 million. 4 noms, 1 win. La La Land, 30, 14, 6. Whiplash, 3.3, 5.3. And Babylon, 110 million. Okay, I'm not even worried about the budget. I'm not worried about the budget for the film as far as awards. Now, as a box office situation, it's going to need to come in at PG-13 at that budget, right? Just to be safe. You don't want to be R at 110. I mean, Bullet Train's 90 and it's an action flick. So, and it's R. So I think once you get to 110, you need to make it PG-13. So there's got to be a way Chazelle does that, cut some F-bombs out. I can't imagine it's very violent. It's story of old time Hollywood. So just cut the F-bombs out, get that thing to PG-13. That's a first step. And then second of all, it's going to be released in the holiday corridor. So that's a great opportunity to get people to come to your film. It's not going to trend young. Right? I mean, it's not going to be, Babylon's not going to be a film that, teenagers are going to run out to see. Margot Robbie, I guess they know. Brad Pitt, this Diego Calva, no one knows. But I'm saying as far as, I think Tobey Maguire's in it in a small role, but it's not the kind of film that's going to work with a younger audience. So as such, you need to make sure that at least it's PG-13. So if the parents are going, they'll drag the kids because it's PG-13. See what I'm saying? Business-wise, it makes sense. So we'll see. But that is a big budget. I mean, that's got to be a lot of that cash has to go to Pitt and to Margot Robbie. At this point, Margot Robbie's got to be up there as one of the highest paid actresses, okay? And then you have Pitt up there, one of the most highest paid actors, period, on the planet. So you have two very high salaries in two actors that are on the set. So everything else is obviously going to add. But I'd say they probably have at least 50 million in star salaries right there. 50 million at least. Satvik, I know we're 2 months away, but do you see Black Adam making 100 million plus on opening weekend? Now, tonight, on the 21st of August, I say yes because one reason. I don't even care how good the film is. People will be starved for another tentpole. And yes, we're going to get Halloween Kills. That's horror, right? I'm talking about a tentpole for the families. So Black Adam sitting there now, and then you got Black Panther. These are two films that are going to reap the benefits of nothingness for the last 2 months plus. So when that happens, I would take the over on 100. Initially, I had it at like 80, 85, 90. But right now, based on the build and the fact that there's nothing in theaters, I'm taking the 100 plus because of The Rock and the fact that there has been nothing. Those are two very important things when we look at that film. Oh, thank you. I've got to learn Don't Worry, Darling is DWD at this point. I mean, I'm going to be talking about it enough over the next several months, unless it's not good. And then we're not going to talk about it beyond like October. But if it's a good film and it's going to be an awards player, then of course I've got to know DWD is Don't Worry, Darling. Wow, spam idiot. I disagree. Coda was a great film. That's fine. You know what? That's what we go here for. Here's what I'll say about this. This is a great discussion to have. I'm not arguing that Coda is emotional. I'm not arguing that everyone in the film is very good as far as the acting, the performances is strong. Okay. Screenplay. Okay. Here's where the problem with Coda is. When we are selecting Best Picture, we are selecting the film that is the best film of the year. And for me, the best film also includes filmmaking. In fact, for me, filmmaking is a huge part of that. Like, I think it's, in my estimation, one of the biggest things. That's why for me, the number one film of last year was Dune. There's not even a competition because when you look at the filmmaking aspect and then also the overall film that Denis delivered with Dune Part 1, it is by far the best film of the year. So when you put it head to head from a filmmaking perspective, Coda versus Dune, filmmaking alone, Coda gets destroyed. Coda is obliterated into a billion pieces because it is not, from a filmmaking perspective, elite. It is not even close to elite. It is, I would argue, a TV movie masquerading as a theatrical film, which I know at the time we were in a situation where it wasn't going to be theatrical, and Apple is a streamer that doesn't really have a theatrical component. But you know what I'm trying to say. Coda, theatrically, as an overall film, filmmaking is so far beneath so many other films that I saw last year that I can't even put it up there. Okay. I would put Nightmare Alley ahead of it. Okay. For so many reasons. So ultimately, the tech on a film, the filmmaking on a film is going to be at a higher percentage than screenplay for me. But if you get the melding of both, then we're talking about something like Parasite. We're talking about truly a masterpiece. We're talking about Social Network, the most recent. Beyond that, there's very few that I consider masterpieces where the technical and the screenplay are perfect, or essentially as close to perfect as you really want them. Coda, from a filmmaking perspective, no chance. I mean, no chance. We have to agree on that. We can also agree that the screenplay is good and everyone's great. Troy's fantastic. So is the girl, forgetting her name now. She's very strong, but filmmaking wise, I said this when we started this channel. Look at Sean Hader. She was not nominated for Best Director from virtually any single critics organization. Not one. Now, that tells me all I need to know, because critics are a diverse group. There's some critics groups that like super niche art house things. There's some that will be open to something like a Maverick and saying that Kaczynski can be Best Director. But when you have Hader sitting there with zero directorial nominations throughout the entire process, how does that film win Best Picture? I mean, you have to go back to Driving Miss Daisy. And even he, I believe, had a BAFTA nomination. She didn't have anything, nothing. So that tells me that everyone else recognized what I saw, that the direction is not stellar from a storytelling perspective, but not from a technical at all. So that's the problem with the film. But I understand why you like it, Spamela. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to agree with me that the tech, the direction on Coda is not a Best Picture. Not even close. Not even close. Thank you. Don't worry, darling. Most deserving Best Picture. Okay, I know you're a fan. I get it. But I'm just saying, you understand what I just said, right? I broke it down. Nick, can we talk about how overdue Carey Mulligan is for Oscar? I mean, she said this year is this year. That's right. Maestro next year. And she should have really won for Promising Young Woman, even though I don't love that film as much as a lot of people. I think she's great in the film, because you have to have the ability to extract elements from film. So let's roll that back to Coda. For me, if you're going to extract something from Coda, you're going to put screenplay up there. You're going to put Troy in supporting. Those are very logical, and that works for me. It's when you start sticking it in categories it doesn't really belong, such as Best Picture, such as Best Director, then I have a problem. So when I look at Carey Mulligan in Promising Young Woman, I'm looking at an actress that is just perfect in that role and really makes the film more so than the direction. That's a film that I think is beyond the reach of the first director there. Because when you look at Emerald Fennell and what she was doing, that's her first film. And that's a very hard film tonally to bring home. And I don't think she does it, okay? Because there's so much going on in that tonally. It's a comedy. It's got the dark. It's got all that stuff, right? It's like, think of Parasite. Perfect example of a wildly tonal film that's going all over the place. But Bong is one of our best directors, and he can handle the tone and he can manage it so it works. Somehow it coalesces and works. I don't think Promising Woman gets to that point. That was my problem with the film when I saw it. But yes, Carey Mulligan, no question about it. I mean, she's overdue. She should have won for that. Prey beats Bullet Train at the theater, if not streaming. Ken, man, you and I see eye to eye. But listen, you think Prey would be at 70 million? I don't know, man. I feel like Prey would have been opening at 20. Like everyone runs out to see it, and then it falls off really fast. I feel like Bullet Train opened in the 30s, right? And then it's at 70 now. I feel like Prey would be sitting on right now about 45 million. That's what I think. I do. I don't think it would have popped above 20. And then I think you're looking at a 2 multiplier, because that's a film that people are going to run out and see. It's hard to say. We're playing with, mystery numbers here. We have no idea. We're totally throwing shit on the wall. But I do think that Bullet Train beats Prey. I don't know about I think opening weekend. I don't know. I have a hard time because I'm going back to the last Predator film, which opened in like was it 15, 16, whatever the number was. It wasn't that impressive, and that's why they said let's put it on the streaming. That said, I think this is better than that. So let's put Prey at 2025. That's still under Bullet Train. I don't know. That's an interesting thing, but I can understand how you're going to argue the other side. I get it. I get it. I totally do. And Ken, that's the first disagreement we ever had. And it's not even a big one. Milan, Avatar 2 and 3 are going to be theatrical litmus tests moving to the future, literally. Well, first of all, they're 3D, so that's very important because then you're going to get that upcharge. So A-List doesn't do it now. I could see a point at some point in the future, A-List has been letting you jump on IMAX, Dolby, 3D for free. I feel like we're getting close with everything. How much we talk about inflation all the time, right? Like everything. I went to go get my car washed today. It was $6 at the place I used to go. I pull up and it's like 10. I'm like, what? 10? It was just 6 like last week. We are seeing inflation everywhere. So when is AMC going to finally say, hey, you want to go to IMAX? $1 more. You want to go to Dolby? $1 more. 3D, $2 more. You're going to pay the $24 a month, but you're also going to get that surcharge. It's going to come. I don't want to say that it's going to happen, but I think it's going to because we are seeing it everywhere we go. Thank God gas prices are coming down, but I don't know about you guys. Everything I buy is more expensive than it was 4, 5, 6, 7 months ago. Way more, way more. My protein powder went from 14 to 18. That's 4. That is a 33+% increase, right? So that's the problem, is that sooner or later it's going to come back to bite them. So the 3D upcharge is going to help Avatar, or it's going to hurt it because people might not go for it and try to save money. Not everybody has A-list. It's true. It is a very interesting situation, but I'm telling you now, do not instantly plug Avatar 2 in Way of Water as a $1 billion film. Don't do that. It's too early. Let's find out what happens. We still have a whole fall to get through in winter. I don't think we're done with whole COVID hysteria. I don't. I as much as I want it to be over, and I think probably I hope that you do too. I feel like we're not done. And you know what I'm saying by that? They're not going to let it go. And if that happens, then we're going to be sitting here in a different situation in December again. We're doing the same shit we've been doing for the past 2+ years. Let's pray that doesn't happen. Please, just let us go back to living life and assuming risk. All right, I'm off my soapbox. Aaliyah, I don't trust any streaming numbers till Nielsen is released. Peacock, Paramount Plus, still a mystery. They don't allow Nielsen to release the numbers. They can say whatever they want, essentially. Remember, these companies, I mean, Disney could really say, Prey was the biggest number ever. Who's going to check it, right? I mean, it's really one of those, it'd be like, hey, here on Midnight Movie Talk, you can't see the views, you can't see subscribers. We've got over 1 million subscribers. You can see the number right there. So the point is that these guys can kind of fudge the numbers. They can say Prey was the biggest debut and let's just, whatever. I mean, there's no one's going to check it. Now, technically, yes, I understand they have to answer to stockholders, but I'm just saying, do you think that everyone tells the truth all the time? I mean, I probably do too much telling the truth. Okay, I admit this, but that's who I am. I am a truth seeker and I'm a truth sayer, and that's how I'll always be. I will never come on here and say I loved a film that I didn't love. Conversely, say I hate a film. And one thing I never, ever do, and someone mentioned this on Twitter, and let's talk about this for a minute because this is actually interesting. Do you know some film people out there that will switch the review? They'll say, like, this movie was terrible, and then you go back and look, and they're like, no, actually, it was okay. At that point, if you're that person, whoever that person is, and hit in the comments, tell me somebody who does that. I would love to actually talk about that. If you're dealing with somebody who's flip-flopping on reviews, then that tells me they're not certain about their evaluations. Okay, that's not good. And second of all, you don't bend your knee to the crowd if they start yelling, oh my God, you're wrong, you're terrible. A great example of that for me was Licorice Pizza. I forgot the title, thank God, for a moment. That movie annoyed the hell out of me. Not funny, one of PTA's worst films, not as bad as Inherent Vice, but it wasn't good. Okay, and it's a collection of scenes that are not strewn together as well as they should be. It's just a cobbled mess of shit. But here's the thing. I said the movie wasn't good. I said for a reason, and people came after me, and the tweet has over 1 million impressions, okay? 1 million. Because everyone's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. And I think the best part of that whole conversation was a lot of people hadn't even seen the movie. Like, how do you come in and say you're an idiot for your opinion when you haven't seen it? Like that, talk about a homer, right? The person who's like, I'm a PTA fan, so it's got to be good. No, well, then first of all, you're not good at what you do. You can't ever be a critic or an evaluator because you have your prejudice. You're already saying it's going to be good. First of all, you should never say that. But anyone who waffles Please tell me someone in the comments that waffles on the reviews. Because I will, if they do, I'm going to go look at it and I'm going to get after them because that's so weak. Weak. Gabriel, Elvis, Warner Brothers, strong award contender. I agree with you. Correct. Okay, so first of all, to my knowledge, I got to double check this, but I'm going off what I remember. Don't Worry, Darling is not in it's not in competition at Venice. That means it can't win. Therefore, when they do that, typically that's kind of holding it back. Now, I got to remember if Joker, I'm pretty sure Joker was listen, it's been a few years. So Joker was there. But my point is if you don't put it in competition, that's not a good sign. You're right. But there have been films that have debuted at Venice, at Toronto, at Telluride that are not great. And just because they debuted there doesn't mean they're good. Okay. And same things happen at Cannes. That said, hopefully it's good. I mean, I want it to be good. Gabriel, I really do. Elvis is going to be a contender for two important reasons. Okay. You know what number one is. It's the fact that you have Austin Butler, who became Elvis Presley, to a level that if he doesn't win or at least come very close to winning Oscar, we got to see the performances, but there's no way he doesn't get nominated. Zero. Austin Butler, number one. And number two, the film is at 140 million plus. A big hit for a small film like that. I mean, it's a film about Elvis Presley. A lot of people don't even remember who Elvis was. Okay. I was a little kid. I barely remember Elvis, but I understand his importance to pop culture and certainly to music and to entertainment and film, all that. So that film at 140 plus million, it might even get to 150. Domestic only. That's insane. So that's a great number. Therefore, you have Austin and a good box office turnout. It's going to do better. Plus, I trust Warner Brothers will do a very good job with the FYC campaign. Don't count on Tom Hanks. I mean, Tom Hanks is not going to get supporting actor. He's the weakest part of the film. We can all agree. Some people say he's terrible. I don't know about that. He's not great. It's not Tom Hanks' best work. There's no chance he gets nominated for that film. But it will be an awards film. And for me, this is what we talk about when you say separate a film and extract elements that are good. Okay, let me tell you why. When I look at Elvis, I don't know if it's quite at Best Picture. It's very close for me. I love it. It's one of my favorite films this year. We'll see at the end of the year. But I do know this. Baz Luhrmann, as director, if I'm listing my 5 best directors, I don't know if there's a universe in which he's not in one of those 5. That's how highly I have him rated, along with Ty West of X. And I know that's, oh my God, X is an awards film. Who cares? Ty West direction in X, lights out. And then you have Kaczynski with Top Gun Maverick. Those 3, it's going to be hard to get those 3 out of my top 5. Whoever comes in here at the end of the year, I don't care how good the film is. I don't care Mendes, whoever you want to throw in there. They have to bring their A+ game to get one of those 3 out. Because that's how strongly I feel about them as directors. So I don't have X as a best picture, but I have Ty West as a best director because I'm able to do that. Hopefully you can too. If you're an awards voter or you want to do that, extract elements that are good from films. Like I said, Coda, screenplay, Troy Kotsur. The rest of it, no. That's it. 2 things, which sounds weird, right? You have a screenplay, but you don't have a best picture. Why? Because the screenplay is not part of direction. Picture is part of direction and screenplay to me, right? It's direction, screenplay. So you only have one half of that. That's why it's not a best picture. Does that make sense? I think that makes perfect sense. I might be the best awards/evaluator in the... listen, the truth is because you have to be able to do this. And I know that over the years, I have a very good track record of calling films, okay? Even though I was wrong about Licorice Pizza as far as Oscars getting a nomination, that's not a good film. Okay, go back and watch. It's not a great film. I know you like how it makes you feel, but it's not a great film. Those are 2 different things. I think Code is the same kind of thing, right? I think it's better as a film because the screenplay is better, but it makes you feel good. But you got to watch that because just because you feel a certain thing doesn't mean the film is great. It's really, you have to manage yourself. It's the weirdest thing, man. When you evaluate a film, I'm going to explain it. I am constantly in there. You're working with levers that you're constantly going up and down on, and you're trying to figure out what is good and or bad in this film, what works, what doesn't work, and that's taking all the elements. And like I told you before, when you watch a film, you're looking to go magic eye on it, right? The old book, I don't even know if they still make the damn things. The book where you look at it and you stare at it, and finally, all of a sudden, the thing comes 3D. So when you're watching the film, it separates and you start to see all the elements in front of you while you're watching the film. You can still see the film, but you're also seeing direction, performances, screenplay, cinematography, production design, score. All of this is coming through, right? Costume, all of it, and you're filtering it, going, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is great. And that's what you're trying to do. So you're not just sitting there, you're passively watching a film. You're actively separating elements of the film while you watch the film. And that took a long time to learn. I'm not going to say that happened in a day or two. My evaluations on film now are way stronger than they were 10 years ago, like markedly, like it's insane. 10 years ago, I couldn't do what I do. You know how it happens? Time spent watching films and then really thinking about the films and what works and what doesn't work, right? So that's what I say you should do. So No Name, I love it. No Name. We'll be posting your Oscar predictions like others have. Okay, here's let me answer this question. If you go to awardsace.com, let's go to it now. There's one thing I do not do on awardsace.com, and let me tell you why I do not do that. Because I do not list favorites and I do not list my picks, because I want the site to be solely about people that should be nominated. Now, I do mention one thing. Let's just go to let's go to Best Actor. Okay, so boom, pull it up. Here's everybody that I consider to be in the conversation. Okay, let's go down and let's get to whenever you see a star next to it. Okay, see the star here? So the star means I think that that person is worthy of being discussed in that category. So if you want to know if a certain performance or film or whatever in the given category is something I think it should be there for, then you go look for the little circled star. Okay, so Austin Butler is one. Tom Cruise, Top Gun Maverick. I've got to add him on there. I don't know how wait, hold on. Never mind. Never mind. I don't even remember my own site. The star means they're going to be a big contender. The diamond means I think it's a great performance. So Tom Cruise is there. You have Austin Butler. My God, that's hilarious. And by the way, one other thing, you see this Michael Fassbender, The Killer. So I have him on there. The Killer is, as you guys know, David Fincher's film. I don't think it's going to be ready this year. As such, it's got a triangle there. So anytime you see that, then it's probably like I don't know if it's going to make it. So I don't want to do predictions right now because I want to consider everyone. And not only that, I don't want to do predictions. I want to tell you who should be nominated. I don't care so much about who's right or wrong about the top 5. As we get there at the end, we can do that. But right now, I'd rather you be talking about Austin Butler for Elvis. Not that you weren't, but let's just say another example of that would be, for me, Ty West, director X, okay? These are not normal things. That's a very, very unique take on that, right? But that's the point of the site. So that's what we do there with that. And how many Best Picture nominees do you think there'll be? I think 10 is a good number. I think any given year you have 10 great films. Okay, so of Best Picture nominations last year, I really am happy that we saw Nightmare Alley get a nomination, because I didn't think it was going to get one. It didn't look like it was, but I was holding out hope. Please say it gets there, because when we go back and look at Nightmare Alley and what Del Toro did with that film, sure, it has issues, but overall, as a film, it is electric. And I think that when you look at it, I saw it both the color version and then the whatever they call the black and white version. I saw both. I mean, I really like Nightmare Alley. And when you look at these films and you have a chance to evaluate whether they're going to be a Best Picture or not, I'm just glad we got films like that in there. So I want 10, because unless there's a film in there that has no business being there, like Borat, okay, something goofy like that, Licorice Pizza for me, then we don't need 10. But I think that No Way Home should have been there. I love No Way Home. I think it's a very good film. I think emotionally it's a great film. Do I think it's, from a screenplay perspective, perfect? No. But is it a Best Picture? It's one of those weird films. Like when we talk about Best Picture, there's so many different ways to fit into that category. The most obvious one is that everything in the film is of an elite, top shelf, lights out level, right? And that's something like a Top Gun Maverick. And then we have something like an Elvis, where the screenplay is very good, but the direction is great, and then we can fit that in there. And then we have films like Nightmare Alley that technically are there. Screenplay may be a little bit weaker, but the tech on it is unbelievable. It can find a way in there. So we have to have a way like No Way Home, screenplay wise and emotional wise, how it makes you feel, then we can get it in there, because I think that the filmmaking is solid enough. I mean, is it, best director category? No. But I think that No Way Home should be there, especially if you have that number 10 spot and you want people to pay attention to your Oscars. I mean, it's a business. You need to have people watch your show. So there's the long answer to that, no name. But thanks for asking. I don't want to do that. I don't want to start saying these people are not going to get in. But we're too early. It's only August. So why are we going to do that? It just, for me, I want to talk about as many people as we can. I'm more interested in discussing all of the possibilities than these are your 5. Right? So it's more of a wide open scope view versus this. These are the 5 people. Wow Spam, they drop Marvel films every Wednesday, so August 24th, possibly. That's 3 days. I feel like they're going to give it a little more. Let's maybe push that to next week, which would be what, the 31st? Or the 31 days in August this year? I don't even know. Is it always 31? What's the leap year? So whatever that is, the end of August, then we could get it there. Sorry, I don't have my calendar down, guys. I really apologize. Jennifer, again, Top Gun Maverick and Elvis are my favorite movies. You're spot on. They're 2 of the best films of the year. For me, it's X, it's Top Gun Maverick. Marcel the Shell is a very good film, very high on my board. Again, I've told you guys, when I look at these things, I almost look at it like the draft. I look at how am I going to draft a film as for best picture. What are the best things? When you go to the NFL draft, you're looking at what are the best prospects. Who is the can't miss prospect? And Elvis and Top Gun Maverick are, for me, the top 2 for me overall across the board. Ty West X is right up there for director for me. He might actually, you got to think about that. No, I would have Ty actually below Baz, because I think what Baz did in Elvis is more difficult than what Ty did in X. That's sometimes the tiebreaker, right? So if I have 2 performances I think are great, I say to myself, which one was harder? So ultimately, when we talk about Austin Butler in Elvis, I can't think of someone having a harder job to do that did a better job of doing it than Austin Butler and Elvis. Therefore, he will very likely be my best actor of 2022 because he combines those 2 things. Stellar performance combined with a degree of difficulty that is astronomical, and you mesh those, how are you going to beat that? That's how I evaluate best actor, best actress, any performance that's supportings. You're looking at who did the best job and who had the hardest job, because that's a degree of difficulty has to be in there. Okay. Same thing for anything really, director too. Like I just said, Elvis for Baz is way harder than Ty West and X. That doesn't mean I don't think he's great. I'm just saying Baz did what he did with Elvis deserves a nomination. That's how strong the direction is in that film. The level of showiness, the level of razzmatazz. God, I have not used that word since I probably was a kid. The level of razzmatazz in Elvis is stratospheric. So when we get that situation that is all on the style of Baz Luhrmann, there's no way he's not my top 5. No chance. Because that's an achievement in direction. And that's how we need to look at films. We got to do that. If you vote for an awards body, please do that. Do it like I do. Be really thoughtful about your votes. Yeah, guys, it's not going to happen. Yeah, it is. They're not going to announce it's coming out in 2 days, right? Because it's too late. Unless it's like tomorrow and they want to have the internet go bonkers. Here's Thor. But the way Thor's been received, I feel like they'll say Thor's on Disney Plus, and all the haters, the trolls will come out and go, this movie sucks. Screw Thor. No one cares, right? That seems like that. Man, that was the weirdest thing when I watched Thor: Love and Thunder. And I really had a great time with it. And I said I really enjoyed it. It's an elite tier Marvel movie. I believe that for what it is and what it delivers. And then I go, what happened? Everyone, why do you guys hate this movie? Sometimes I don't get it. And I understand what you're saying, but I don't see it. I did not see that with that film. There's some films that we're absolutely going to be polarized on and we're not going to agree on. A great example is Everything Everywhere All at Once. I absolutely believe that film has no business anywhere near a best picture, not even in the conversation, but I'm also fully aware that it's probably going to be in the conversation. But my problems with that film are, we're going to do a whole stream about why Everything Everywhere All at Once has no business in the awards race. That'll be the entire stream. That'll talk about a bunch of downvotes, but it's true. Guys, go back and watch that movie, especially with the added, whatever they added, 7 minutes. I said, listen, if you want to make that movie better, you definitely don't add to Everything Everywhere All at Once. You subtract 30 minutes. You don't add 7. So now you're 37 over where it should be with added. That film is, if I ever see the Daniels, and you guys know I go to these awards parties, man, that's going to be awkward. I will not seek them out. But if they want to have a discussion, I'll say, listen, your film would have been good at 145, but someone didn't tell you that. I know I'm right on that, by the way. I know I am right. I'm going to pound. I'm going to knock this desk over. I was going to say 10-minute warning, but we'll go a little less than that. 9-minute warning, everybody. 9-minute on this Sunday. Today's a 3-year anniversary of Ready or Not. Oh, no way. Listen, Gone Girl. Ready or Not is unbelievable. Who are the two directors? I don't remember their names. Okay, so I remember this. These are the things I love doing, okay? When you get to go to these awards parties and these events, which we do here in Los Angeles, which, trust me, I'm very thankful for. There's sometimes they're awkward because you run into somebody you don't want to talk to because you don't love their film. And I'm really bad. I'm not going to go up to somebody. I never have and I never will. Go up to somebody and say, oh, I loved your movie. Like, imagine me after saying, the movie's super overrated, going up to the Daniels and saying, oh, I loved Everything Everywhere All at Once. They'd be like, who are you, dude? You're not even real. So the chances are, if I ever see them, I will not go up because it's going to be awkward because I can't stop myself from saying your movie's 30 minutes too long. Conversely, when I ran into the two directors of Ready or Not, this was at the Searchlight party in 2019. Everyone was there and they were talking to the kids from Jojo Rabbit were there. And I go, these two guys were hanging out, and I just started talking to them because it was just like, there's like 20 people at the party. This is early, and we're sitting there, drinking our mixed drinks, and I said, so what do you two do? And they go, oh, well, we're directors. I said, well, what'd you direct? They go, Ready or Not. I go, no. And I literally like fanboyed out in the middle of this bar restaurant in West Hollywood because I was like, you guys don't understand. That's a great film. I mean, that is a great horror comedy. And the fact that you love it, Gone Girl, makes me excited because it is a really excellent movie. Samara Weaving, hell no. How great is she? That film, and when I met those two guys, I'm just like, this is why I love doing this, because I am legitimately in love with Ready or Not. And I love what you guys, I can't wait for whatever you guys do next. Those conversations are amazing. The other ones where you see the Daniels or somebody that you bash their movie, like, oh my God, the Russos at this point. Listen, at some point, they're probably going to throw a drink in my direction, but The Gray Man's terrible. Okay, just one of the worst edited films, I think, of all time. So I don't anticipate hanging out with the Russos anytime soon. But if I do see them, that'll be interesting. That would be fun. That would be really fun. If that happens, we will do a stream and I'll tell you. But, truth be told, I'm not going to seek them out. Not that I'm afraid. I mean, you guys, come on. I'm not afraid of any of these people. But at the same time, it's just awkward. So it's like, let's just let it go. They advertise. Yeah, I think they're going to advertise it, right? They're going to have to. 47-day window. They should drop Marvel films. We'll see, Wild Spam. I don't know. I wonder. I mean, it's really curious what's going to happen with that. Nice photo of thank you, Geeky Lawrence, 2007. Thank you, and welcome to the channel. I didn't think of it that way. Had an ominous look, which is indicative of the company over the next few years as Zaslav. Well, first of all, I ride my bike around. I really enjoy. Listen, I sound like this super old dude. Listen, I get on my bike and I ride through Burbank like almost every night of the week because I love just being near the studios. I can ride to Disney, ride my bike to Warner Brothers. So I just get on and I go just ride through the streets. It's amazing. So I go to the Warner Brothers lot. I pull up and it's closed. It's Sunday at like 7 o'clock. I took the photo and I'm looking. I just take the picture. The gates are closed, right? Go look. It's on my Twitter feed. And that's hilarious because it did with the gates closed. I see what you're saying. It's like, yeah, Warner Brothers is closed. But listen, Warner Brothers is like making bank, okay? Because they built this gigantic office complex over on the old NBC lot that's like literally a 3-minute walk from my house. And they have built this crazy, modern, strange looking architecture right next to the studio. It's not on the Warner Brothers lot. It's actually on the old NBC Studios lot. And it had to have cost hundreds of millions. I mean, maybe a billion. This building is insane. Look it up. Just put in new Warner Brothers offices. And they have a whole new gate there. I think it's gate 17. Warner Brothers is not hurting. Okay? Know that. Warner Brothers is not hurting for money at all right now. Let's get caught up on the. We're almost. Thank you again. Yeah, it is a good picture because I literally pull my bike up. in front of the lane. I'm like literally like, I don't know, like 25 feet from the gate. And like, there's the Warner Bros. Tower. If you're coming in on, I think that's Hollywood Way. Hollywood Way dead ends right in. You just drive it straight in. If you're coming down, you're just staring right at the tower as you drive in. And then that's gate 4. And you go onto the lot. And then the screenings for us, when they have press screenings on the lot, you go straight in there and you go back, you park, and you walk around. I always love going on the lots. I mean, that'll never get old. I don't care what lot you go to. Sony, Fox, which is now Disney, but still it's called Fox, or it's actually called 20th Century. Sorry, it's no longer Fox. And Disney and Warner Brothers and Universal. Universal's insane. Universal's huge. Not the theme park. The actual studios, they just built more studios. I think they're out to stage 43. That's how far out this thing goes now. It is massive complex. But again, I just love being down the street and I ride around, and there we are. As that Universal's, very close as well. Doom was definitely best picture of 2021. Thank you, Gabriel, for knowing that. It was the best combination of screenplay and filmmaking of the year. I don't care if it's the first half of a film, the second half of the film, 1/8 of a film. It's a great film, and it is the best film of the year. So I have no problem at all with that. Ken, has a film ever been nominated for Oscars and Razzie at the same time? That's true. That could happen. Austin Butler for an Oscar and then Tom Hanks for a Razzie. That could happen. Was Sandra Bullock was one year she was nominated for an Oscar and a Razzie. It was The Blind Side and whatever the hell the other movie was, right? She's done that. The same performer. But from the same movie, that would actually make a lot of sense if it did happen, though, Ken. I like that because that's fair. Sound of Metal is one of my favorite movies of the year. Let's make it a 2-minute warning here. 2-minute warning. Sound of Metal deserved to win Best Picture, Best Film. I love Darius Martyr's direction on that film. He is a Derek Cianfrance apostle. He came from his tree, his coaching tree, and that film is how I want a film to look. I that's the first thing I said. Go back and look. Search Sound of Metal and put my Twitter handle in there. My first reaction was, how the hell, if I had the money, if I was buying, because that was a film that was bought at Sundance, it was purchased at Sundance. If I were a bidder at Sundance and I just watched Sound of Metal, I would instantly turn to my budget guy who said, here's how much. I say, how much money do we have to work with here? And he's like, we have 20 million. Okay, good. I'm going to start at 5. And then Apple comes in. Let's say I'm Netflix. Apple comes in. I say 6, 7 up. I go to 20. I'm not going to go 20 off the bat because I want to see what I can get the best price. But after watching Sound of Metal, I would have been right. Amazon bought that film for, I want to say 15. It was worth 20 because look at the nominations. It was one of the best films of the year. That's what I want to do one year. I want to get paid. Hell, pay me for this. Let me watch a film and then bid for it. And like a great example is, if I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, I would watch it and I'd say, what are we starting the bidding at? We'll start at 500,000 and we're not budging a penny over. That's where we're going to end it. That was too good. Guys, we'll see you back here Thursday, because listen, it's the dead zone of August. We'll have to talk about the invitation on Thursday, whatever happens over the next several days. I'm going to take a little siesta, chill out. I'll see you back here Thursday on Midnight Movie Talk. Spread the love, spread the word. Love all you guys. Thanks for building the community. I'll see you back here Thursday. Until then, MMT is, let me pull the banner up. Give me a second. It is out. See you guys.